The Republican debates were last night, and I didn't miss anything. It's pretty much the same as the first one. Vivek, from what I'm hearing, came out looking good, and the rest look like shit. They're warmongers, and fuck them. I don't support the Ukraine war. I don't support them at all. And anybody who supports it, I don't support. Sorry, man. So there was this huge flash mob that happened, and it's happening more and more in these big cities. Happened in Philadelphia. Unsustainable. This is highly unsustainable. When these flash mobs come out to the suburbs or small towns, that's going to be pretty interesting, because I think a lot of these people who are committing crimes will be shot. That's what I think is going to happen. People are just going to get tired of it. The police aren't doing nothing. The government's not doing nothing. People are just coming in and taking my hard work, my efforts, and then people are going to be had enough and just start shooting. And then what's going to happen after that is you'll have people coming back, and kind of like what they do in inner cities, like an eye for an eye. Like somebody of a rival gang gets killed, and then they go and do a drive-by and then try to attack the people that killed the gang member, and it'll be something like that. This whole thing is unsustainable. It's you can't have a civil society when you have people just come and taking whatever the hell that they want to take. And then you got people defending them, saying, oh, this is reparations, or like this is how they survive. Like, what are you talking about, man? There's so many different food pantries here in America. You don't have to steal food to survive. And the people who are doing the flash mobs, I don't think that they're starving. Or else they wouldn't be stealing from Apple or anything like that. See what happens with these big corporations like Apple and these cities and stuff like that is that the workers aren't going, they don't care. Like, they're not going to put their life on the line for people just coming and stealing everything. They're not going to try to stop them. I wouldn't either care about this corporation. But I'm saying, like, if you're a small business and you encounter something like that, some people might start shooting. That's what happens when you feel threatened. I mean, when a big, massive group of people come in and they're destroying shit, you see what their intent is. You're gonna want to defend yourself, and then who's gonna look like the bad guy? See, like here in America, we got this sense of like defending criminals. Like, oh, the criminals' rights. No, fuck the criminals' rights. If they did something wrong, fuck their rights, man. They obviously don't care about somebody else's rights. It's so backwards, for real, so backwards. But yeah, you can't have a civil society if people just ransacking everything. It's just, you know, people are gonna be fed up. Like, what am I paying taxes for? You know, um, I've heard that over in New York, people protesting the illegals being brought in and them having the taxpayers having to pay for these people to be there. People are being arrested for protesting it. So you're saying these people who are actually paying taxes, paying these people's salaries, are being arrested for protesting by the people that they're paying. The system, the way it's run is because the way things are being run, anybody knows that this is not sustainable. This is intended to destroy America, to divide. That's all this is about, to divide us more and more and more. And once we're all individuals and we're not a formidable group like we used to be, it's easy for us to be destroyed. The fact that our government cares more about sending money to Ukraine than actually stopping illegal immigrant invasion onto our country shows a lot. You know, this whole notion of just because the Statue of Liberty says, give me your tired, weak, and huddle masses and whatever, like, we can't do that for the whole world, man. We can't do that for the whole world. And it would be one thing if all of our cities were just like the greatest cities in the world. We had like no crime here, and we had like hardly any issues. We didn't have people who were poor here, you know. And it's like, yeah, we got to bring other people in here. But the issue is we have too many issues to worry about other countries, to worry about other people. I mean, we have to cut off foreign aid to everybody. We can't sustain it. We got to cut off welfare because it's going to pop. It's going to pop. It's going to be bad. And when that pops, when that welfare bubble pops, when that foreign aid bubble pops, and America just can't afford to pay its bills anymore. I mean, this whole government shutdown thing is like every couple of years now. So like, they're always threatening to shut down the fucking government. And it's tiresome, man. It's the same thing. Oh, it's their fault. No, it's both of your faults. It's, you know, if we're getting to the point of a government shutdown and you people are in charge of the government, whose fucking fault is it? It's both of your faults, Republican and Democrat. The thing is, both are irresponsible with their budget. You spend on the most frivolous bullshit. And if I was to run my life like the government runs the government, I would have been bankrupt like 8 times already in my life, if not more. These people don't respect the taxpayers. It's like every 4 years or every 2 years they come, oh yeah, what's up, man? How's it going? And then after they get elected, they're like, fuck you. I don't give a shit about you. There will be a push to stop paying taxes. I think that people are going to start their own businesses and try to get away from the corporate structure, because the corporate is pretty much woke and they're monopolized. And if you can make a competitor to woke crap out there, and it could be like at a comparable price range, like real comparable to whatever they're putting out, like you could do pretty good. But yeah, people are just going to get tired. It's gonna be like, this bad stuff, like, you better get used to it, man. It's the unwinding of our civilization for now. Because it's unsustainable. Something better will replace it. If the thing is just trying to survive to get there. That's what I'm trying to do, basically. And the hope is, like, people care about the rule of law. There's trust in the rule of law. People aren't trying to abuse the justice system for their own narrative. I would like more than anything to be able to trust the federal government. The last thing I want to... I'm frankly getting tired of politics. Or, like, the last 4 days, I didn't even really look too much up on it. There's other things that I could be doing with my time. You know, I do have an interest in, like, society, so, like, it all does mingle together, but it's just, like, I wish that we had good people in charge, man, that actually cared about the country going forward. And the people that we have elected don't care about the country going forward. All they care about is their pockets. And it could be the right or the left. The only politicians I really agree with are the Freedom Caucus. But pretty much the rest of them, just trash, just complete trash. And like I said, it's sad, man. I wish the federal government was had its shit together. We had a balanced budget. We had great infrastructure here in America. We didn't have high crime. Isn't it funny how the Democrats keep trying to take guns away from law-abiding citizens? Like, this is all that they're trying to take guns out of our hands. Because if you're a criminal, you don't give a fuck about the law, obviously. If you don't care about killing people, why the fuck would you care about some liberal fucking Democrat law that talks about gun whatever? You're still going to be able to get your hands on guns. You don't care. And usually, what takes down a bad person with a gun? A good person with a gun. And that's what the cops were supposed to be. Good people with a gun. Cops will do whatever the hell they're being told what to do, just like soldiers. So, you know, if you're a protester protesting illegals being dumped onto your community, and the cops are told to arrest you, well, you're going to get arrested. I mean, it's quite clear that our federal government doesn't give a shit about freedom of speech at this point. I mean, even the states, the local state governments, they were not letting people get together for church. and things like that. Unless you're a Democrat and you want to riot in 2020, that was okay. But going to church, maybe protesting, anything that's not Democrat, then you go to jail. Then they'll do something. But like if you're a Democrat back during the riots, and you this is how you can believe that they're so full of shit. When they're justifying and saying, when we had a pandemic and lockdowns and shit, that we all had to stay home and shut down small businesses, but you just let people come out on the streets and riot, that's okay. Just let them burn the cities down, that's okay. But aren't you worried about the spread of COVID? You're shutting down these small businesses, but letting these people just come out and just destroy everything. Why? To defend some criminal? It's a joke, man. It's a fucking joke. We need is a mentality shift. That's what we need. If you have nothing to do with your day, nothing, you don't have to work, you don't have to be anywhere, what are you gonna do with your time? Probably do drugs and get fucked up. And that's what welfare does. Not every case. Some people use it how they're supposed to be, like how it's supposed to be used. Some people don't take advantage of the system. The classic way to take advantage of the system is just get a single mom, right? I am kind of living at her place, so she's already getting paid for her house or the fucking apartment she's at. Like, that's already been paid by the government. She gets food stamps, she might get cash assistance, and she might get WIC and all that. So her kids are taken care of by the government. Okay, her housing's taken care of by the government. Those are two huge bills that you don't have to worry about. Well, any money that I bring in, which I'm not supposed to be there, is extra money for her. And it's hard to catch these people. Some people actually sell their food stamps for cash. I've heard of people buying it for like 50 cents on the dollar. So if you got to give me like $200 worth of food stamps for like $100, people do that. You just swipe the card and there's no like identification to prove that it's you. Isn't that kind of weird? Yeah, but I can just sell dope or work a real job and just stay there at her place most of the time, unless like the people who run the apartments want to come and look. Then obviously I can't be there for that time, but most of the time I get to stay there at her place. And I got basically a free place to stay. I got food. All I gotta do is bring some drugs in. And like I said, this isn't every single mom, but like you can see how the scenario can play out easily for a lot of different people on welfare. But what else are you gonna do with your time? Like, seriously. It's easy to manipulate the system. I've never done that. I've been on the system. I've worked the whole time. So like, yeah, I needed a little bit of help and I got myself off the system. And then when I told the lady when we got off the system, the social worker, I said, I'm glad we're getting off so somebody else can use it. But that, like that mentality of like somebody else needs it, and I'm like one less person. Like, they don't care, man. Because the government's like infinite number of funds. It's like these schools, right? They're allocated so much money, and if they don't spend it, then they don't get the same amount as next year. So they'll spend it on the dumbest shit just so they get the same funds as they get next year. Because people don't want to work. They don't want to see, oh, look at this discrepancy. Well, they don't need this much money. They don't need as much for the school this year. And then the school should be fine with that, but they're not. They're like, give me more, I want more. It's like trying to get the most money as you can. That's what it seems like. Everybody's trying to get the most money they can out of the fucking government. They're trying to siphon as much as they can before it like implodes on itself. These like if we go through another pandemic, like if we're going through lockdowns and all this COVID stuff, and this next vaccine starts to come out, well, that's a good thing to probably invest in, because that's what it did pretty good investing in it before. I'm not giving anybody any financial advice. I'm just saying, like, if you look at the patterns before, I'm sure Pfizer's stock, I haven't really looked into it, I'm sure their stock jumped significantly in 2020 or 2021 whenever they came out with the vaccine. People don't like crime. They don't like any type of crime. And honestly, there's too many people in prison for non-violent crimes that really shouldn't be in there. I think that there's other ways that they can serve their punishment other than just being unproductive sitting in a jail cell. Like marijuana should be legal. Why isn't marijuana federally legal yet? I'd say more states have it legalized in some type of capacity than not. So why is it not federally legal yet? The Democrats had control from 2020 to 2022, but they didn't pass it to be legal. If they decriminalized it, there would be a lot of people in prison. The prisons would get emptied out. But it seems that's not what they want. They want people locked up. They want people in the system. They want people to have to pay for court fees and all this bullshit constantly. It's corrupt. It's like the cops. I don't know if that's true, but I've always heard like the last of the month and I think like the first of the month they're really trying to pull people over to give them tickets. So they're really strict at that point because they got like a quota. I don't know. I'm not a cop. I just what I've heard from the grapevine. Why do they have a quota? Why is there a quota? That's kind of weird. If that's true, I don't know. There's just a lot of ways that the government's being ran that the taxpayer is just going to be like, dude, what am I paying for? Like, you're not protecting me. You're not fixing up my community. Why am I giving you all this money? I need it. I need it more than you do. Because all you want to do is send it to other countries anyway, or pay for people that aren't even American citizens. So what the fuck am I paying for? And like I was saying, you're going to have a lot of people just get out of the corporate industry and start small businesses and avoid paying taxes. People, it's like you're taxing us too much and not giving us anything back. Like, I don't mind paying taxes, and I've always paid my taxes. But what are you doing with those tax dollars that benefits me as a taxpayer? Because that's my fucking money. You're not doing shit. So you're gonna have a lot of people trying not to pay taxes, which I don't fucking blame them.